All right, welcome in the latest episode of that SEC podcast. I'm your host, Michael Bratton. I go by SEC Mike on Twitter. And I'm joined as always by my cousin Shane, who goes by Big Orange Vols on Twitter. What's up, yo, Tennessee Hober?
Hey, babe, what's going on?
Oh, doing good, brother. Appreciate you, Randy. Randy, first one in here. Let's go.
Come on, Randy.
Shane, we have officially hit that point of the college football calendar. There's not much going on, but so I ain't gonna BS people, and I didn't want to just sit here and do lists all off season. Although we will get to plenty of that, no doubt. But man, I've been going around the SEC, Shane. That's what I'm going to be doing the next couple weeks, and just wanted to give the listeners a little bit of a heads up. So we've got George Stoya from Sooner Scoop. He's going to be on the back end of this episode. The video's up and everything. It's going to be up within the hour. It's just ready to go. It'll be on the episode for the audio listeners, but we also got a Missouri guest. We got a Florida guest. I got an A&M guest lined up. We got Stephen Lassen Wednesdays coming up. We got more in-studio shows coming. So, hey, the news may be slowing down, but this is a good opportunity to kind of chop it up with folks around the SEC. You know what?
Well, I love this part, Mike. I mean, for starters, I'm not doing all the work, so but I do like going around the league, kind of getting that inside feel. So many times, we bounce around. We'll hit a team for 10, 15 minutes, and it seems like sometimes some of the depth, some of the coaching moves, some of that stuff gets lost in transition. So hitting these teams individual, like Oklahoma, I've learned so much from these guys coming in and talking about their program, So I have a better understanding of what I think Oklahoma's going to look like when they get over here in the SEC. So yeah, man, it's fantastic. I'm pumped up. You send me these interviews before they come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I love the only problem behind the scenes. Mike's cheap, right? He's cheap. He's a tightwad, boys, and he'll send me this Dropbox thing that we go through. He'll be damned if he pays the extra $20 to get the professional version. So my interviews are always cut off for 30 minutes. So I don't know what happens after 30 minutes, but
it gets really good at that 31-minute mark. Trust me.
The front 30 is fantastic, though.
Yeah. So hey, if you're watching on video, obviously everyone live is. That interview will be up in within an hour, so it's already posted, ready to go. Just haven't gone live with that. If you're listening to the audio version, it'll be on this episode. So, yeah, and Shane, I need to step up my game, get some more Texas people on here because I don't want everybody thinking, we're shunning Texas, we're just Oklahoma, but it's just kind of how the people's schedules and everything like that. We'll get plenty of Longhorn coverage here too.
Yeah, and two, man, if you've not checked out the JD Piquel interview, it was fantastic. And what I love about that kind of that long form interview, you could tell you're relaxed. You guys had some fun. You talked about every team in the SEC. So be sure to jump on YouTube, check that out. I mean, I'm not telling you to always watch video, but when JD's on there, I mean, you got to strike while the iron's hot, because these two suckers, you could just probably stick to the audio version and be fine.
Yeah, thanks again, JD, for joining the show. It's people give us their time, Shane. They come in. I think he was off on Friday. He come into the studio there downtown Nashville, spent over an hour with us. So, this is people giving their time, and I think a lot of people, Shane, they have no idea what they're stepping into when they get into that. They're always surprised when they're like, oh, this is legitimate. It's like. I don't think we give off the vibes of two serious people here. You know what? Like, or they're afraid we're gonna be in your little den there.
Yeah, he thought you were walking in your mom's garage or something. I do love it, man. And I will say this, Mike. Kudos to you. And I don't know if it's me that dumbs you down, but when you get around Cornell guys, it seems like you get a little more intelligent. So I did notice that a little bit. Now you come over here, we're drinking beers and slurring and talking about the shitty internet. But I love that interview, and I love this concept. And Mike's going to do more of those. So be sure, if you've not liked, subscribed on the YouTube, hit that notification mark. So because that one actually came out a little earlier than expected. It was out this weekend. And, so those YouTube listeners got a day's head start on that one.
Right. Well, speaking of being dumbed down, Shane, I just had to lead with this because this was making the rounds of the Twitter sphere as we like to live here, even though it's died down a little bit during the off season. But Auburn, I mean, this is hands down. This is the worst graphic idea I think I've ever seen, Shane. And I really just want to show it because of Shane's reaction. But for anybody that's missed it, I'll throw it up here on the screen. But it says year one. This is Hugh Freeze here, if you're just listening. Highest ranked first-year recruiting classes. And then the typo gets even smaller among active SEC coaches. And then even smaller says Hugh Freeze 8th in the country. And then it says even smaller. Well, this is just according to all three. Just one service has got. So, I mean, there's caveat after caveat after caveat on this thing. And apparently this is not even accurate information, Shade. Apparently Kirby had crushed this when he was at Georgia, first year recruiting class. And then so Cousin Shane's response, this was even better. So this is Cousin Shane. Cousin Shane, if you're just listening, his graphic says highest rated co-host on that SEC podcast, and then very at the on the bottom, very, very small print. If you ask Shane's mom, that's who's giving him that.
Oh man, yes. That's a reach. And, that had to go through several people. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I've got an idea kind of thing. I could just imagine them at a round table and say, well, we know your recruiting class was good, but how can we make it better? Let's put some little asterisks beside it and make it. So kudos for Auburn trying, but that was probably best just left left on your computer.
Yeah, save that one in the drafts. Don't send that one. You know what? I mean,
no.
You're searching for good news when that's the graphic you're putting out. You know what?
And as I'm making my graphic, I'm just laughing the entire time because if you do, I think the biggest reply to that whole thing is if you zoom in underneath you freeze, the word integrity is there, so that's the one that kept popping. So there's a lot of great things going on in the Plains. We don't need to make these damn things up, though.
Right. And staying in that state real quick here, Shade, there was a local reporter. I'm just trying to find her name while we play this clip. But I just really like this clip. I think Alabama fans will like it. And hell, even SEC fans that hate all these guys transferring out and doing all this stuff. Jalen Milroe was asked about staying at Alabama. I thought this was a pretty cool message.
What's for you is for you. And for me, it's to stay at Alabama. I have something that's I have a lot of stuff that's still at Alabama that I wanted to achieve. And, I signed my letter of intent to come to University of Alabama. So it's all about staying here and building. And with the guys that we have in the locker room, we have a really good group. And I'm super excited for what's ahead of our football team. But with anything, we're excited to have Coach DeBoer and coaching staff that's here because they're only going to allow us to grow as a football team.
And I want to give a shout out real quick too, Shane. I got that from Jamie Hale, ABC Birmingham there, so I want to give credit to that clip. But I think it's the right message here, and everybody's down on Jalen Milroe because he had one bad game against a hell of a defense that harassed him the entire night. Whereas we forget he tore up Georgia. I mean, if not for Jalen Milroe, Georgia's the national champion right now. The Gravedigger play, one of the greatest plays in all of college football the last season to beat Auburn. So, I mean, it's the height of stupidity. I'm not saying he can't get better. Clearly he can, but to say that he's garbage and Alabama's going to be in the dumps now, I ain't buying that.
No, me either, man. And I obviously saying the right things. This is uncharted territory. Nick Saban, the greatest of all time, is no longer there. And, there's going to be some scapegoats. There's going to be some growing pains. And I wanted to ask you, coming in last year, there was a lot of pressure on that quarterback spot and almost buckled him at the start of the season. But he grew, the offense coordinator grew, and I think Jalen became a hell of an athlete toward the tail end of the season. But does he have more pressure starting this next season than he did this last year?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Shane. I hadn't thought about that, but I think so, because now you want to keep the allure of the Alabama dynasty. Now, hey, I was the first one to say decaying dynasty, Shane. They're all going to be saying it next year, right? Now, if Alabama, wins 10, 11 games and makes a college football playoff, maybe we still have that mystique. Maybe we prove we're still among national elite. But yeah, I think the fact that they lost in the playoff, new coach, and you look at Caleb DeBoer, his track record with Michael Penix, the quarterback he had at Fresno State. I believe his name's Jake Hayner. He's now with the New Orleans Saints. So this is a guy that knows how to get the most out of his quarterbacks. And if he can't get the most out of Jalen Milroe, I think a lot of people are going to say this is a Jalen Milroe, because we're already seeing it. But I think they're going to say Jalen Milroe can't play at a high level. They're not going to blame it on, they never want to blame it on the new coach. You know what?
That's what I'm thinking. It's either going to be, as a team, a success, or if it starts to unravel, becomes a little bit of a failure, it may be pointing fingers at the quarterback, because it's not going to be, like you said, it's not going to be the coach. We're going to sit back and say, well, hell, half his team left or anything like that. But you're watching a game on Saturday and it goes south, then you're going to say, well, damn, we need better quarterback play.
Yep. I appreciate your Hollis $10 donation. Love supporting y'all and love the interview with JD Mike. That was mostly Shane. Shane picked all that up. I'm kidding. Scott,
thank you, cuz.
Appreciate you, Scott. I can't wait for my koozie. We got a lot more going out. I got about 20 that I got to send out. So I apologize if anybody hadn't gotten theirs yet. But you could get your own koozie reaching out to us. Just subscribe to the show. Give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. And reach out to us at that secpodcast@gmail.com. And most importantly, cannot stress this enough, we need a mailing address. You'd be stunned, Shane. How many people reach out and say, give me that Kentucky koozie? I'm saying, all right, buddy, but I need a mailing address. Damn.
It happens often, guys. I tell you, it's probably at least, I can't imagine the ones you're filtering out, but at least 2 or 3 times a week we're getting all right, just send it. And it's not coming because we don't know your address. Be sure to send it to Gmail too, because a lot of people will send it to Twitters and Instagram, all that stuff. I appreciate it. We thank you for the support, but it's easier to keep up with who's got one, who doesn't, if we got it all through the email there. So that's that secpodcast@gmail.com. And again, thank you all for the support.
Absolutely. So real quick, Shane, like I said, look, we'll get to this interview. George Stoya from Sooner Scoop. That's going to be the vast majority of the show. But real quick, Mizzou has hired a defensive coordinator, Shane, Corey Batoon. He was previously the defensive coordinator at South Alabama. And that's, of course, the head coach just got hired by Alabama to be their defensive coordinator. So South Alabama, they must have one hell of a defense down here that, their entire defensive staff is now in the SEC. I didn't watch enough of them, but dang, we got a spammer in here, Shane, that just will not go away. But yeah, so Corey Batoon, I don't have a ton of information on him. I hear he's the same vein as the guy we just lost, a super aggressive defensive coordinator. He's going to come after you. But I'm going to get all in on that tomorrow, because we're going to have Gabe DeOrment from Power Mizzou, first time on the show. He's going to give us the all the info we need on this guy. But, it took a little while for Mizzou to hire this defensive coordinator, so I assume Drake did his homework before hiring this guy. But, again, South Alabama, I can only imagine how great their damn defense was last year. You know what?
That's the thing. Everybody thought Alabama had a hell of a defense. No, further south. That's where it was at right there. No, and I'll tell you, too, one thing that Drink has shown us is with these last coordinator hires is damn, he's hit some gold mines, and so sometimes you live or die with the coaches you bring on that staff. So there's going to be a lot of pressure. But, again, you got a coach that's coming into a pretty good situation there in Mizzou. So, if it takes a step back, though, there's going to be some pointing the fingers,
Oh, yeah. All right, and then real quick, another one, Shane. Florida I don't know that it's specifically a coordinator, but they have hired a special teams coach, and by God, they desperately needed one. They probably, they probably would have to a bowl game had they had a quality special teams coordinator last season. But they got Joe Houston, who was with the New England Patriots last year. He's been special teams coordinator all across this is a different guy. This guy was at Southern Cal under Pete Carroll. And I mean, if this is a guy that can really benefit Florida special teams, and again, we're going to have a Florida guest on here later in the week, Shane. People think I'm damn crazy, but I think if we just clean up a couple of issues, we improve in areas where I think Florida will improve. I think Florida is, again, I'm not saying they're going to win the damn SEC or anything, but I think that's the team that I have pegged right now as one that could surprise the most next season in the SEC.
Well, I thought JD brought up a great point, and when he talked about single possession games that Florida had, and if they would have capitalized on two of those, Mizzou being one of them, there's a chance they hit a bowl and maybe even win that, and then we got an 8-win season. We're not so down on the Florida Gators right now, and so some of that is special teams and. Can you cheat the system? Can you get away with, kind of making other coaches pitch in and help that department? Absolutely. But when it doesn't work and it's egg in your face, then all of a sudden, I thought after that Arkansas game, they'd be like, hell, we got to hire somebody now. You know what I'm saying?
They probably should have, Shay. They probably should have. And then this is the other guy I was talking about real quick, Shay. South Carolina, they have hired, now this is special teams coordinator for sure, Joe DeCamillis. He's been in the NFL for a ton of years. He's with the Giants, the Falcons, the Jaguars, Dallas Cowboys, and we all know Beamer Ball down there at South Carolina. Pete Limbo was outstanding. He got the head coaching job at Buffalo. That's the only reason he's gone. But we have a proud tradition of special teams here. We're gonna find out. Is it really Beamer Ball or was it Pete Limbo Ball? We're going to find out with Joe DeCamillis here. I mean, I imagine you couldn't have hired a more qualified guy than what Shane Beamer did, particularly late in a coaching cycle. So this, on paper, looks like a very experienced guy that they're getting.
Hey, man, that's like you said, that's Beamer Ball, and that will always be Beamer Ball, all the way back to his dad. Special teams is always very important. It's three phases, brother, and just like the Florida Gators, you see when you don't have it, it comes back to bite you. So South Carolina will always be at the leading front for special teams.
Yep. All right, brother. So like I said, hey, that's all I got. We're going to kick it over to the George Stoia interview. If you're listening on the audio, again, if you're here, the video, it's going to be posted here in less than an hour, right here on the YouTube page, over 30 minutes with George Stoia from Sooner Scoop. Got anything you want to get off your chest, Shay? I don't know where we're going to see you again. I got a really fun idea for the next time we hook up, Shane. But we're just so loaded with interviews throughout the week, giving you some time off here. And I'll be moving too, Shade. So hopefully we have better internet. Hopefully I have a setup. I don't, none of the camera gear falls off a truck or anything like that. As long as there's no disasters, we should be locked and loaded with a new set is coming too to the show. But anything else before we may not see you again for a couple of days here, buddy?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're always going to have a show, and I'm always around and ready to pop on. Now, I may not jump on and talk special team coaches. You know what I'm saying? That's when we're starting to hit a little bit of the offseason when we talk about special teams. But no, I'll be floating around, and like I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'll probably be on here once or twice a week and checking in, make sure everybody's behaving in here, that sort of stuff. But on the other side, trying to cut some LB, still doing good on that, man. I switched to the old carnivore diet. Made a bet with a couple guys at work. Are you familiar with this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so at first, that's the thing. I've done it before. The first 3 or 4 days are always fun because it's like, hey, steak, hey, chicken, But day 5, day 6, that's when it gets a little bit tougher. So, I'm on that one right now, brother, trying to cut it. We go on vacation at the end of this month. I got to get in that swim trunk, man. You know what I'm saying? The Speedo, I got to
why-
hang it up there in the closet. I try it on every day, and I'm not there yet, Mike, but I'm getting closer.
That's why Shade's been unavailable, because he's been just pounding it in the gym so hard. You know what?
Yeah, that's right. That is exactly right, Mike. I've just can't you tell? I mean, I figured that's what we would have led the show with, but no, I'm acting it up, and I kind of cheated a little bit the other day. I ain't gonna lie. Why am I lying? I ain't even lying. Clearly, I'm not the perfect, and I'm not saying you should do the carnivore. I probably should have led with that, Mike. Check your doctors at all that fine print, that Hugh Freeze had. I'm
Ginger
throwing that out
Ninja
there.
says he's down 20 pounds on the carnivore.
Oh, I swear, man. Everybody was talking about it there at work, so they're like, "Hey, man, let's do it. Do you like eating steak? Yes. Do you like eating shrimp? Yeah. So I was like, hey, this seems like a perfect diet. You know what I'm saying? You like butter? Yeah. Who don't like butter? So I don't know. I may have a heart attack here in like 3 weeks, or I may cut 30 pounds. I don't know, but I am going to be the guinea pig and see if it even works. But so I'm going to be a little cranky for the next few days, just because I'm coming off sugar and stuff like that. But yeah, brother, I'm ready. I'm ready to get ready for that that swimsuit, man.
Yeah, what a visual you're giving us to leave here. The fans they're requesting Shane in a thong pics at some point. You know what?
Yeah, with the mayonnaise. No. Sure as shit as I do it, man. That little Hispanic fella come around the house again. Like, oh no, round 2.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, I appreciate you. Good luck with the carnivores and all that. And hopefully, yeah. Check with your doctor, please. Don't take our advice on literally anything.
No.
But we do appreciate
You
each
see
and
my
every one of you.
gambling. You don't need to take my diet advice. I'll tell you that.
But all right, brother, if that's all you got, man, I'll catch you on the next one. And we appreciate each and every one of you.
Absolutely. See you guys. Go Vols.